Hey guys, what's up? IrishEmerald here, and welcome to the Monotype Challenge League. So this is another league that I have taken on board since we lost the IBA, and it's kind of it's a hybrid of the Monotype tier and the OU tier. So I was approached to do this on Twitter. There's a few YouTubers doing it. I said, look, why not? It's something that'll be a little bit of fun. I'm not going to be taking it too seriously. I'm just going to put together a team that I think would be that'll be able to counter whatever type I'm facing, and we just give it give it a lash, and it should be okay for the weeks that we're doing it anyways. I'm not too sure what the schedule is because they decided to change it, so I haven't been really up to scratch on it because I think they were changing while I was away on vacation and all that. So all I know is like who my opponent is, and I just do it. But I go into a little bit more detail about the rules are. So yeah, you can have you draft a type. So I drafted dragon. So dragon fell to me, so I took it. I didn't get ground. I really wanted ground, but I didn't get it. So I took dragon. And you're matched up against what originally was every single type. So we had I think 18 types and 18 trainers and then 18 matches, or 19 types, whatever it was. Each type had a trainer, and you were matched up against each one, and you had your series battles and vice versa. That was it. So obviously, as I said, I think the schedule's changed. I'm not too up to speed on that. Weather items are legal, so the sand rock, the rain rock, or the damp rock, all them kind of weather enhancing rocks are legal. What else is there? The tiers are like they're the non-monotype tiers. They're like the OU tiers. So any mon that's Uber you can't use. So Landorus Eye, for instance, Landorus Incarnate for ground and for mono flying can't be used. So that does kind of suck. And what originally was the rule for the first few weeks, and they've changed it now, was that if you had a type, like say it was Poison versus Ghost, right? Okay, neither team can use Gengar. You can't use a Pokemon that share types with your opponent. So they did decide to scrap that, and I only found out that just before my last match, so I didn't get a chance to change the team, whatever. But it'll be fine either or. But that is pretty much the rule set as it is. So I decided I'd play along anyways, give it a go. It'll be a bit of fun. I haven't used Mono Dragon, never used it in my entire life. So I said, look, now or never, let's figure it out and see if we can have a bit of fun with it. And it was so great. So this episode I'm going to do the replays from weeks 1 through 3. So I didn't get a chance to record the first lot of these episodes live like I normally do, so I'm going to be doing a post-com of it so you guys are up to speed and see what happens. My first matchup is against Mono Dark, and we're up against, as you can see, Polit, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is another YouTuber. I have a link to his YouTube down in the description down below, so please make sure to check him out. And without further ado, let's have a look about how the battle played out. It was an interesting battle, to say the least. He starts off with Bisharp, and I go and lead in with my tank Garchomp. So just a brief note on what the team I brought for this one. I brought a tank Garchomp. I brought a D-Dance and Mega Altaria. I brought a special defensive Gudra, a bulky offensive Dragology, D-Dance and Tyrantrum, and Scarf Curum. So I felt that was kind of the best way to get around the Mono Dark, because I didn't want to bring the Latties this time around, and I figured I'd bring Tyrantrum to deal with Mandibles, as you see me trying to deal with it at the moment, but that didn't work out. And yeah, that was basically the team right there. That I'm bringing, and Mega Altaria obviously because it evolves into a fairy, and I can just go around and just click returns and kill things. But as you see, as we progress, it didn't really go to plan. But we come out back into Cynthia against his Mandibles. His Cynthia check, or my Garchomp check, is definitely his Mandibles. So we kept trying to set up our rocks and phase this guy out. He eventually goes out. We eventually end up bringing out his Weavile through Dragon Tail, and that causes us to have to switch, because his Ice Could Crash or will kill us, and Ice Shark will do a number to us as well. So we go on to a Kyurem, because we know we'll be able to live one hit, and we outspeed because we're scarfed. So I go back out to Kyurem. I now click my Earth Power, and sadly that did, that was maybe a 3 AKO, but not much. Um, we go out to our Cynthia then while he sets up his rocks. It definitely looks like at this point that his Mega was the Sharpedo, because he didn't go into his Mega T-Tar. He goes for his Ice Punch. He does a number on us with that because it's quite effective, but he doesn't pick up the kill, so our Tank Chop still kind of lives the hit, thankfully. And then he goes back out into his Mandibles, and we're slowly wearing out this Mandibles, but we're not, but it's still lingering. And he goes for the Roost then. We then decide to click Dragon Tail, which was grand, and we bring out his Bisharp. So nothing really wants to do with this Bisharp. I went for the EQ here, thinking that he was going to go for the Sucker Punch, but he goes straight up for the knockoff. Or was it Dragon Tail? I can't remember. But he goes straight for the knockoff anyways and finishes us off. So I then go out into my Altaria, and because I am carrying EQ for that Bisharp, so I Mega Evolved and I go for the EQ. But Sneasel just about lives it, so I then switch out because I want to keep my Altaria, because for me that's my win con, and I go out into my Goodra. He unluckily misses the Icicle Crash, so I'm sorry for him, because he probably would have gotten the kill there had he gotten the had he gotten the Icicle Crash. And then what happens is I decide to set up my Acid Armor against this T-Tar. I'm just going to speed up here very quickly. I land a Toxic, and what basically we go back and forth between me stalling out the Toxic and set up Acid Armors, and him slowly wearing down my Goodra, until the point that eventually it becomes a double down. Not a double down. I take out T-Tar, but my Goodra is just within it's just within range for it to be killed from an Ice Shard or something like that. So it doesn't really do me much good, sadly. So the Goodra does end up taking down the T-Tar from thanks to the Toxic and the Infestation at the end. Maybe had I gone for maybe another Acid Armor at the start, but instead of Toxic, it would have been a different story. But I don't know. I got the T-Tar down anyway, so I kind of I was losing at that point, so getting the T-Tar down was good. The Weavile finishes us off with a knockoff, and he's now slower than my Altaria, so I come out and bring Altaria out in the hopes of being able to OHKO something with my return. Sadly, he just kills off his Sneasel because that was his death fodder, which is great play by him. He then brings out Bisharp, and I don't know what I went for there. I can't really remember, but it was a disaster because I was slower than Bisharp. So whatever way I EV'd, I definitely EV'd for me to be 1D dance up. We go out into our Dragology then, and we miss the Focus Blast. Now, for me, I thought that had we landed that Focus Blast, this Bisharp would have gone down, and my Kyurem with Fusion Bolt should have been able to pick off the rest of his team, because his Mandibles would have been down to half. His Sharpedo, which is obviously not that bulky, would have been down to 75%, which we would have been able to take out, and we outspeed the Weavile as well, and the Weavile would have been weakened from the Stealth Rocks on top of that. So for me, had we landed that Focus Blast, we could have snuck the victory. But to be fair, my opponent Pollitt was by far was ahead of the game the whole time. Yeah, he had a lead. He sustained it very, very well, and deservedly picked up the 4-0 win. So fair play to you, bud. Congratulations. So that was our week 1 matchup. Our week 2 matchup. Let me just reset that. Oh, I didn't reset that at all. I better reset all of these so I don't spoil it. Our week 2 matchup was against Robust Finch, and he drafted mono normal. So very kind of interested working up to this. I figured Mega Lopunny would be the biggest threat, so I brought Scarf Latios. I brought another Tank Chop as well, so I can set up rocks. I brought that notorious Subcoil set that I love. So I brought that. I brought Mega Altaria. I brought a Weakness Policy D-Dancing Dragonite, and I believe I brought a Life Orb Hydreigon to this one as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's have a look and see how the battle played out. I start off with my Garchomp. He goes out into his Lopunny. He just goes straight up for the Power Up Punch. Don't know why he didn't Mega Evolve there first turn. That's what I would have done, but he went for the Power Up Punch. So because I thought I was going to fake out, and I was going to get the rough skin damage on him. I get the Stealth Rocks up. He switches out into his into Snorlax, and I get a Brick Break off. So Snorlax is after going down to 50%. He now goes for the Ice Punch. He loses 12%. And we go for the Dragon Tail to phase him out. So that Snorlax is pretty much very much weakened in this point in the game, which is really, really good for us. We drag out his Earth Ring though, and he does get the I think he went for Quick Feet instead of Guts, because had he been Guts, that Ice Punch should have OHKO'd us. But sadly, he's going to take out my Cynthia, but we're going to take out his Earth Ring at the same time. We have Rocks up on his side of the field, and Snorlax has is very much weakened as well. So he brings out his Lopunny. I brought my Scarf Latios, expecting the Lopunny to come out. He goes for the Fake Out this time now, which I don't understand why he didn't go for do that for the first move. But anyways, he stays in with Lopunny, thinking, oh, I outspeed this Latios, I'll kill it. But he didn't realize I was Scarfed, so I kill it with my Psyshock. And then he goes out into Chansey, and I'm not really understanding his plays at the moment. He tries to Calm Mind on me when he knows I'm locked into Psyshock. So I gradually kill it because he's trying to set up his Calm Mind and defense curls and all that. But I eventually just knock it out anyways, because even despite the crit, I was hitting on the physical side, whereas he should have really kind of gone for the defense curl first to kind of finish me off. After that, he goes down to his Linoone, and his Linoone basically it does finish me off between the Play Rough and the Extreme Speed. Then I go out into my Zygarde, and he immediately goes out into his Wigglytuff, predicting an Outrage. Now, of course, I don't go for the Outrage. I go for Coil because I want to set up here. I think I should be able to live a hit from Zigzagoon and then set up. So I set up one Coil. I go out into my substitute while the Wigglytuff goes out and performs Wish instead of trying to attack me. Zigzagoon the Linoone is back out again. Sorry, not the Zigzagoon. The Linoone is back out again. I'm still setting up my Coils here. The Linoone now goes for the Belly Drum, so he's got max attack, but I go for another Coil. And unfortunately, what he doesn't realize is that I'm also carrying Extreme Speed. So had he gone for Extreme Speed there, he would have broken my sub, and it could have been a different game. But I think he must have gone for another move, because I went for the Extreme Speed and I knocked him out. He then goes out into the Snorlax. I finish up the Snorlax pretty easily because the Snorlax was weakened from our Garchomp earlier on. And then last but not least, he goes out into his Wigglytuff. I'm set up behind the sub. It's easy peasy from here on out. I go for the Extreme Speed just to wear out the Wigglytuff a little bit more. And then I just go for one more E-Speed just to finish it off. And that was that. So we picked up the 4-0 win against Robust Finch. Good game, man. Good game. Few plays I didn't realize what was going on with, but we got the win nonetheless. So I'm glad that happened, and we had no hacks or anything like that disastrous in the game. So we picked up the win. And then last but not least, our third and final matchup that I'm going to be showing you guys today is up against Solar Biscuit, who drafted the ground type. So he got the type I really wanted, and luckily enough, I do know the type inside out, so I knew what I kind of needed to bring. This game, I'm bringing Scarf Kyurem, I'm bringing Mega Latios for Energy Ball for the Gastrodon, and a few other threats. Gudra, I brought a bulky Salamence so as to be able to bulky Intimidation Salamence so as to be able to give like set up mons like the Garchomp and whatnot -1. Or if we went for SD, just a +1, so that we didn't want as much of a threat. I think the Kingdra's Life Orb, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it is. And then I brought another weakness policy, D-Dance and Dragonite, on top of all that. So let's have a look and see how it played out. He brings out Golem, I bring out Kyurem. I go straight for the Ice Beam, and I kill him. Now, I'm shocked he didn't have Sturdy or something like that, but it worked. I killed him. It was super effective. Easy peasy. Oh no, he has Sturdy, but Terravolt breaks it. That's what it was. So Terravolt breaks Sturdy. Sturdy didn't happen for him there, so we knocked him out. He then goes out to his Gastrodon. I go into my Latios. I Mega Evolve. I go for the Energy Ball, and I kill it. He then goes out to Mamoswine, and I thought he was going to go for Ice Shard, and that's the reason why I stayed in. But he was actually scarfed into Icicle Crash. And I then go out to my Kingdra, and he gets the flinch on my Kingdra. So Kingdra and Latios have just been knocked out. Two of the main Pokemon that I was relying on to kind of help me with this matchup have just been knocked out from that Mamoswine. So the Mamoswine has done a huge number on me. He then goes down to his glide score, realizing that I'm scarfed here. Or thinking that I'm scarfed here because I brought it in. And I start just dropping Dracos on this glide score just to be able to kill it. And we do, thankfully. He then goes out to his Garchomp and scaring me out. So I then go out into my Salamence. He Mega Evolves and he goes for his SD. So he's only +1 now. So we worked out very, very well. But what he does is he switches because he thinks my Salamence is max speed. And I outspeed the Garchomp at that point. So he switches out and we manage to get the kill on Mamoswine. What I don't understand, I'm just going to pause here, was why the Mamoswine went for knockoff when he was scarfed and he could have gone for the Icicle Crash on me. He was probably very wary of the Kyurem, but at that point he could have Icicle Crashed, weakened the Kyurem, switched back out into Lando so the Garchomp, and then kind of kill my Kyurem again. Granted, I had Dragonite still knocking around, which was going to be very, very scary. But I think had he kept the Lando around, he might have been able to pick up the win. But he was probably going for the knockoff just to be able to get rid of that Kyurem, and that was it might have been the play he had to make, but sadly it didn't work out for him, and we were able to kill the Mamoswine. So he goes down to his Landorus and he goes for the Outrage, and we get the -1 because we're gooey. I go out into my Kyurem then at this point, and I'm like, I clean up because I'm scarfed. I outspeed his whole team. Ice Beam is quite effective against his last 2 remaining mons, and I pick up the W. So Kyurem did the work, got 3 kills, killed half his team, and Latios got 1, but sadly with the Mamoswine did a fine number on it and finished us off. So good game, Soda Biscuit, very, very good game. And that is that. Those were our first 3 matches in the MCL. We finished up with 2-1 after this, and I'm looking forward to the next few matches coming up. I have a few of them done. It's just a matter of me rendering, recording, and all that. So make sure you stay tuned to see how they all fare out. I know somebody was asking for me to do some Dragon type videos, so Mono Dragon's here now because I'm in this league and I'm using Mono Dragon. So it should be fun for you guys to see how I get on with it. And it'll also be good for me to actually learn more about the type because I know nothing about dragons. So it is fun to be able to figure it all out as I go along. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there today, folks. If you enjoyed today's video, please click the like button down below for me. If you're excited about this video as well and you want to support your Wexford Wailords, please click the like button as well. If you have any comments about today's video, please let me know in the comment section down below. I love reading what you guys have to say. And then last but not least, if you want to see more MCL actually coming your way on this channel, please click the subscribe button down below for me, guys. I nearly botched that completely. And on that note, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.